I don't know if you saw the living skeleton hostage, the video that came out on Friday of the Hamas hostage. It's really sick. I've only seen the pictures. I haven't seen the video. But the pictures of this guy who was buff and really healthy looking. I mean, he looked like he was really in shape. He was out at the at the concert there in Israel, and at the concert, he's one of the guys that was grabbed by Hamas. They released a 5-minute clip of him. He's 24 years old. He's in a tunnel. He's standing in this tunnel with a ceiling about as high as he is. They show him crossing off dates on a calendar and digging a grave. He says, I haven't eaten for a few days in a row. And if you look at him, he is nothing but skin and bone. I haven't seen a Jewish person look like this since the Holocaust. I mean, that is the image that I think that Hamas is trying to send to the world, because I think they're proud of all of this. In the middle of the video, a person behind the camera hands him a can of beans, and David said, this can is for 2 days. This whole can is for 2 days, so I don't die. This is the grave I think I'm going to be buried in. Time is running out. This is the deliberate starvation of this hostage. And you would say, well, the kids are starving. Now you only care. Let me tell you another story. I want to read this one verbatim. When much of the world had written off northern Gaza as unreachable, 30-year-old East Jerusalem resident Sarah Awada and her team carved out a lifeline. Under the umbrella of MENA Aid, a regional partner coalition operating through the Multi-Faith Alliance and in coordination with Israeli authorities, she built a system that moved hundreds of trucks of food and supplies into Gaza, bypassing Hamas and private contractors who had turned hunger into a business. Did you catch that line? Bypassing Hamas and private contractors who had turned hunger into a business. More than 100,000 families have been fed. The cost, her own safety. Quote, I never imagined that I'd be creating safe, independent humanitarian route would become the reason my life might end, said Sarah. After delivering 346 trucks of aid between September 24 and February 25, we've reached 100,622 families. We decided to scale up distribution on June 30th at a time when no one was able to get anything into Gaza because of looting, chaos, and multiple layers of obstruction on the ground. Operating through MENA Aid, her team designed an alternative route to deliver food and essential supplies. In Israel, a trusted logistics company transported the goods from the port of Ashdod to the Kerem Shalom and Zitkim crossings. Inside Gaza, another logistics partner handled the transport while her staff, coordinating in real time with Israel, shadowed every shipment. Once the aid crosses into Gaza, it's picked up by another trusted logistics partner. Our teams are present during the offloading and accompany the aid from the crossing to secure warehouses. Inside the warehouses, we begin distribution immediately, aiming to deliver everything the same day. And at most within 2 to 3 days. Nothing is allowed to sit idle. That level of control allowed them to achieve what few others could, reaching northern Gaza where people had not seen a staple supply of food for months. Her breakthrough exposed a darker reality, an economy where hunger itself has become a business. Now, this is reporting. She says, quote, there's a lot of private sector businessmen, some associated with Hamas and other political groups. By the way, this is not somebody who lives in the Jewish quarter of Israel. She is living in the Islamic quarter of Jerusalem. They try to use aid to make millions of dollars because there's such a shortage of goods and prices are so high. Some steal aid and sell it in the market. Others try to take over the supply route so they can resell it. Her team's success threatened by those who profit from scarcity. By flooding the market with free goods, they not only fed families but also drove down the inflated prices charged for basics like sugar and flour. If there's no sugar in Gaza and we bring it in for free, they can't keep selling it at outrageous prices. So we became their problem. Israeli authorities also tried to cut off these private sector schemes by shutting down the routes that allowed commercial profiteering. Now, listen to that. Have you heard that anywhere, New York Times? While this helped curb some corruption, it also made the remaining humanitarian channels more dangerous. The private sector was blocked, and so those who lost their profits started trying harder to threaten and infiltrate the humanitarian route. They couldn't control it, so they tried to break it and me. The attacks on her came quickly. I began receiving death threats, not just from Gaza, but from the West Bank. Heartbreakingly, some came from people I once trusted. One of the most painful betrayals came from somebody close to her. She said, I even discovered that I was in a relationship full of lies. That person was part of a gang that wanted to exploit the aid operation, and he tried to use me too, but I stood firm. I made sure he and people like him never got near it, and now my life is at risk because I refuse to let the private sector hijack aid for commercial gain or let political actors bend it to serve their goals. The families she helps are the reason she refuses to quit, she said. We've created a distribution model based on verified beneficiary list using ID checks to ensure fair and dignified access to food. People stood in line calmly, organized, and even in impossible conditions. That's something the media just doesn't show, the dignity and patience of the people. Now, why isn't everyone covering this woman? I want to get this woman on the phone if possible. I want to talk to this woman. I would feel very comfortable in helping raising money for her. She's somebody who understands that there is a problem. That's the only reason why people are not saying, hey, we can only do so much with the food thing in Gaza, because it's hijacked. It's hijacked and used for political purposes. Do you think the Hamas fighters look like the guy in the tunnel? No, of course not. Absolutely not. Why? Because they have the food. They're only giving it to people they want to give it to. They're controlling everything. They're honestly, Hamas, they're animals. They're animals. But I don't have a problem with people from Gaza, children, women. Now, I don't know if they're part of Hamas or what, but I mean, I don't mind helping feed them if the food is actually being distributed. But it hasn't been. This woman seems to be distributing the food, carving out a lifeline and risking her life to do it. Thank you, Fox News, for bringing this story to my attention. It's fabulous, fabulous.